Sometimes it's called a police action. Sometimes it's called the forgotten war. But to those who served, fought, were wounded, or gave the ultimate sacrifice, it's only known as one thing: the Korean War. Hi, I'm Tracy Willette, and soon we're going to be joining some Korean War veterans who received a special award recently. But before we do that, let's join the man who was responsible for this event. He's going to give us some insight into the Korean War, as well as some of the activities of his group. I'm now joined by Ed Davis, who's from the local Korean War Veterans Group. Ed, thanks for joining us. Why don't you explain a little bit your role, your group's activities, and some of the things you do?
Okay. As Tracy mentioned, I'm Ed Davis from the Burton Good Sergeant, Chapter No. 1, Korean War Veterans of Bangor, Maine. The No. 1 chapter in the state, and we do quite a few different things for the community. But I'd like to go right back to when we started in 1992. Two men got together, Ken Buckley and Fred Harden, and they decided that we needed a memorial up here, both Korean War veterans. And so they enlisted other people around to run around and collect money for the chapter, not realizing how much it was really going to cost, which was quite a bit. And but they survived, and they kept on trucking, brought in more people, got a lot of support from the community, and also went around to find a site that they could put this memorial on. And they had quite a job, but they come over to Mount Hope and talked to the trustees over here, who gave us this site here and thought it would be a good addition to the cemetery, as which you can see is, and it's kind of a crowning jewel for this cemetery. Now, in 1996, we finally collected enough to get started here, and they talked to the Adjutant General of the state of Maine and got the support of the Bangor Air National Guard to come over here and do site preparation. And from there, they enlisted other people to come in, and it was all volunteer labor. And the monument service that we got this from was, let's see, Provost Monuments in Fairfield, Maine. And they gave us the best deal, the best price. And then we were able to collect enough to do this. And then we decided to help pay for it was to sell paver stones, as you see here, right here. And we have 724 here right now. And these paver stones are in the honor of veterans who have served. Towns came through and bought stones. Bangor, Brewer, all the local towns bought them. And we were able to take some of that money to build this. Now, it doesn't look like we have over 700 stones, but we have 4 that are ready to go in at any time that we can get together, which will be very soon.
Ed, you mentioned Monument Company, and one of the pieces that I found very interesting here is this table, or tablet, if you will, of the entire map of North and South Korea, and especially this line, this 38th parallel line, and some of the locations. It might be helpful for folks if you could kind of explain a little bit that significance of that line and some of these locations.
Okay, so, certainly. This line here is the 38th parallel that divided North and South Korea at the beginning of the war. North Korea up here wanted to unify the whole peninsula under their rule, communist rule, and with the help of the Russian, supposedly allies, they went below there and attacked South Korea without any warning, any provocation. And they went all the way down the peninsula to about this area here, where we stiffened up and we brought our troops in from Japan and held the line there. In the meantime, MacArthur got his bunch of troops together and came around here on this side and landed in Incheon to sever the forces here so that they could easily take them over. And then when they did, they came right up through here, right up through the Yellow River to the top of Korea. And this was all within about an 8-month period. They were up here. Well, they thought the war was going to be over very quickly, so they really went prepared for a winter siege. Well, the unfortunate part about it was North Korea had the coldest winter that they've had in 50 years. And our troops weren't prepared for that, and guns froze up, tanks, all kinds of things because of the extreme cold, and there was a lot of frostbite by our troops up there. So they were, and then all of a sudden, 500,000 Chinese came in to support the North Koreans, and of course they pushed us back, way back to the 38th parallel again, where we were able to get more troops in and be able to establish some kind of line there. But that line went back and forth over the next 3 years until they finally decided on a truce, but they worked that out over here in Kaesong, right in here, and Panmunjom, right in this area. And they finally decided to go back to the 38th parallel.
And that's a line that still exists today.
That's a line that still exists today. It's known as a DMZ.
Interesting.
The demilitarization zone.
Interesting. Very interesting information. I think we're ready to join you and the rest of your comrades in the Korean War at the awards ceremony recently held.
Thank you, Tracy.